and welcome to this week's edition of Mikey's Blues Box. As you can tell from that intro video, we're going to be looking at some early Eric Clapton, mainly a song off of this album, John Mayall and the Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton. The song is called All Your Love. It's the first track on that album. This week we're going to be taking a look at the intro. And I figured the best way to explain this is to break it down into three separate licks. They're all very similar, so we'll call the main lick, lick A. There's a variant of that lick we'll call lick B, and then another variant we'll call lick C. So let's start off with lick A. Lick A is going to start, they're all going to start at the 5th fret, high E, and the B string. You're going to slide that up very, very quickly, and you're going to come back down to that 5th position A minor pentatonic box. From there, you're going to bend the G string at the 7th fret up a whole step, release and pull off, and come down to the 7th fret of the D string. So, this is the main lick, basically, the main part that's going to be in all three variants of the lick. So, I will play it slowly for you. It goes like this. So that's the main part of all three licks. Now for lick A, the ending, after you release bend, you come down to that 7th fret of the D string. It's just 2 notes after that. You're going to come back to the 5th fret of the G string and put just a quarter step, very slight bend in there. And then you're going to come back down to the 7th fret of the D string. So the ending is just like this. Don't forget to put vibrato on that last note. So the whole lick slowly is like this. So for lick variant B of that lick, I'm going to start the same with that slide from the 5th fret of the B and high E string. Slide up, come back down with the 7th fret of the G string, bend, release, pull off to the 5th fret of the G string, and come back down to the 7th fret of the D string. So again, this is just the beginning of that lick, but it goes like this slowly. Now for the ending of this, which makes it the variant, you're going to go from the 5th fret of the G string, and then you're going to hammer on to the 7th fret of the D string and add some vibrato. So it's going to be just the ending is like this. So the whole lick slowly, lick B is like this. Now for the challenging part of this, for me anyway, is explaining it without any notation, is going to be the lick C, the third variant of this lick. So it's going to start off the same with the slide coming down to the 7th fret of the G string with the bend, the release, pull off to the 5th fret, down to the 7th fret of the D string. So just again, the first part of this lick slowly. So that's the first part. The part at the end is where it gets a little more tricky to explain without notation. We're going to start with the bend at the 7th fret of the G string up a whole step, and you're going to add vibrato to that bend. The next note is going to be holding that bend a whole step up. Pluck it again, this time with no vibrato. And then a note after that, you're going to release it slightly, so it's just a half step bend then, and pluck it again. So slowly that part's going to be like this. I added the rest of that lick in there as well. After that half step bend, you're going to start from a neutral position of the G string, bend it up just a quarter step bend, and then bring it back down, and just add some vibrato to it. So it's going to be almost just kind of like a gradual release. Almost, it sounds to my ear when I first heard it, I almost maybe thought he was playing slide, because he kind of gets in between the notes with that half step and quarter step bend in there. But it's not done on a slide, it's all done with these bends. So it's going to be the whole step bend with vibrato. Then again, that whole step bend just being held in position, no vibrato. Slight release down a half step, and then from the neutral position, up a quarter step, and then neutral again with vibrato. So slowly it's going to be. Now, if you ever want to check your bends to make sure they're in tune, you know you're bending up a whole step. Go up a whole step to the 9th fret. And then it's released slightly down a half step, so you got that whole step bend. And that half step. And then the quarter step you can't really check, you just gotta kind of do it by ear, but it's a very slight bend. Now to finish this lick out, you're going to bend up again about a half step and then release it with a pull off to the 5th. So it's almost like the ending of lick A, with just that quarter step bend on the 5th fret again. And then 2 strikes of the note of the 7th fret of the D string, the last one adding vibrato. And then to finish it out, you pluck the 5th fret of the B string and G string and trail it off. Faster than that, but like this. So that is the intro to the song All Your Love. And I said we'll break down the order. So you had lick A, lick B, and lick C. Lick A is repeated, let's see. It's repeated twice before it goes to lick B. Which is just played once, and then you're going to go to lick A again. And to close it out, you go to lick C. So that is the intro. I would recommend playing along with the record. Maybe put it on your Spotify or your Apple playlist. The whole album is actually just fantastic. We'll be looking at more stuff on this album in the weeks to come. Next week we'll be tackling the rhythm section for the verse. I thought maybe to close out this week, I would talk about how I'm kind of getting some of these British blues tones here. Eric Clapton accomplished it by plugging a 1960 Les Paul into a Marshall Blues Breaker combo amplifier. I do not have one of those amplifiers. They're rather expensive. I do have a Studio Vintage, which is like a 20 watt plexi. It does get sort of a old school Marshall tone, not quite like a blues breaker, but it gets a pretty decent British blues tone, I think, for the room and for the studio. And I jump both the channels, and then I have it set a little bit higher on the bright channel to where it's broken up, and you got to really crank these to get that crunchy kind of distorted tone. And then I add in the normal channel for just a little bit of low end. If you listen to this album, the guitar is on the brighter side. There has been some people speculating that he used a treble booster. From what I've heard, that's not true, but it doesn't matter. It is on the brighter side. As far as the guitar settings, I do it on the bridge pickup, and I have my volume set at about 8.5, and my tone set at 5, just to prevent it from getting too ice picky. Kind of warms it up a little bit if you have it set like that. And those are my settings to try and accomplish not an exact tone, but a nice British blues tone. So next week, like I said, we'll be tackling the rhythm. I'm hoping to be able to put some tabs on screen next week, and make it a little bit easier to follow along. I won't have to explain everything. I'm still doing my research on how to do that. I'm still learning the software. But yeah, next week we'll take a look at the rhythm. The week after that, we will take a look at the solo. And then from there, we'll move on to another song. As always, I'm Mikey, and this is Mikey's Blues Box, and I hope to see you next week. Thanks.